viral video that was going around, and Cam Newton even commented on it, like what goes on inside of the helmet of the quarterback. And
Yeah.
that also is a question I'm asking from your research. Like, what really is right before they get to the line? What is going through their head? What are they processing? What are they seeing on their maybe on their quarterback coaching arm? Like, what take me
Yeah.
that those 30 seconds before a play snap?
It's completely frantic. Like I actually get into that in the book, in respect to Bryce Young. And I think that like, Bryce Young is one of those guys that, he went to a systemically bad team. And, I think that Frank Reich, even though he was the coach at the time, he knows how to coach quarterbacks. I think he made a mistake by trying to marry different systems. Like I think that like instead of just stick with one philosophy, he tried to marry systems. And then I think the other thing that hurt someone like Bryce Young initially was they talked about how smart he was. And this is like sounds kind of counterintuitive, but like because they talked about how much football intelligence he had, I think there's an expectation early on that he could direct traffic at the line of scrimmage like a 12-year vet.
Yep.
And nobody can do that young. I'm sorry, like nobody can. And so because of that, I think that like he gets a play call and they're a long play. These play calls are long. Like you've seen some of Sean Payton's calls and you saw the Cam Newton video. Under the best circumstances, the coach stops talking at like 17, 15 seconds before the ball needs to be snapped. So then the quarterback needs to regurgitate the play call, needs to get everyone to the line of scrimmage. If he's calling out the protections and not the center, he needs to do that. And then, he also has to get a snapshot of the defense and understand what they're doing. It's insanely too much. And as a matter of fact, I think some of the coaches, I think like Chip Kelly's one of these guys who's really been able, like at his best, he was able to reduce play calls to like one word or a series of words
Yep.
rather than these long, drawn out, almost paragraphs. And I think that like simplicity helps quarterbacks. Like Jaden Daniels is a really, really good player, and I think he would have been good no matter what. But there's no question that like working with Cliff Kingsbury and the staff that they had there helped him. And so I think that like you see Bryce Young now, he's got a little bit of experience under his belt and he's able to handle all those things a little bit better. Than as a rookie, when things were so frantic, it was just not the wisest decision to put him in that situation. I think that like Steve Young, I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame player who got to the NFL and really didn't know how to throw, much less be a quarterback. I mean, this stuff takes time. And Rich Gannon was a safety at Delaware, and he ended up being an MVP quarterback. And he is the best explanation for this. And he says that, like, playing quarterback in the NFL is like when you first learn how to drive. I mean, you are clutching the wheel. Every single movement seems like a reason to tap the brakes. Like you just have no feel for the road, and then once you get some reps you understand like how the road works and where traffic is coming from and what you need to look out for. And does that mean that you'll never get into a wreck? No, but it means that like you've got a feel for it, and that's the best way that I can explain kind of this evolution of what happens with quarterbacks. I think that like when you see Joe Flacco, people like, how is it that Joe Flacco is able to just come off the street or be 41 years old and get traded to a team like the Bengals and have success? And that's that like he may not know every car and he may not know every road, but he knows them all just enough that he can like it might be a little rocky at first as he's trying to figure out the dials and everything, but he'll figure it out. And I think that like in some ways there's no mystery. It's the biggest mystery in sports is like why some of these guys who are really good in college fail in the NFL. Why can't we predict this? Why can't we scout this? Why can't we coach this? And all of that stuff is totally legitimate, but like the learning process is actually the least mysterious of it all, I think.
If you enjoyed that clip, make sure you head over to www.bookumapp.com to download our app so you can connect with your favorite bookish content creators, start conversations, and start your own book club.